Hey, it's Keelan here, and I've got a very special guest for you today. They're a recent graduate on our flagship course, LMA, or Life Mastery Achievers, as we call it here, at Success Insider. And what he's going to do is he's really going to give you an inside perspective of what you can actually expect once you enroll on LMA. And he'll talk about his journey overall, the ups and maybe some of the downs, and how he's come back from all of that. So let's start with the introductory question. What's your name? Where are you currently based? And what do you do?
Okay, my name is Juan, and I'm currently based in Cumbria, in England, and I'm a freelance outdoor instructor.
Okay, so yeah, we were talking just before about outdoor instructors. So you're saying you work mostly with schools, and I was saying you're the fun guy that we all
Yeah,
remember when we've gone on school trips.
yeah. So I've done that, since I was about 20, um, amongst other things as well. But yeah, teaching kayaking, archery, bushcraft,
Oh
all
wow,
that fun stuff, the
yeah,
outdoors.
that sounds fantastic. That's brilliant. So let's, if we can, think back to before you joined LMA. Obviously, there was something going on in your life, some maybe pattern of behavior, etc., that you wanted to address. And why don't you just take us through exactly, how you're feeling, what was happening just before you became aware of the course, even?
So I'd been working in a factory, food production, and I was very um, working indoors. It was not through choice. Well, I felt like was trapped in this job. Um, I only carried on taking it because of coronavirus reasons that I couldn't do my normal work.
Mm.
Um, but I was sort of really letting it get to me. Waking up, hating myself, hating waking up in the morning. And even on the weekends, the time I had off, I would just never really do anything. I would procrastinate. I would just watch TV. I wasn't really socializing either, and
Mm.
all these things.
Mm.
Um, and so when I found the course, I don't really remember the particular moment. I don't know. Some people do, some people don't. I obviously it must have spoken to me in some way. That I saw a YouTube video,
Mm.
signed up to email newsletters, and I didn't really take notice of them for a few weeks. This would have been October of 2020.
Mm.
Um, but then it just sort of must have, yeah, it was been about November, late November, and I joined the Rise Above Challenge actually. So I did that
Mm.
first for a week, and then through that, it introduced me to Tim Han and Success Insider, um, and I really just liked how it was organized, and I loved doing the live videos. Quite very scary at first, the
Mm.
Facebook videos. Um, but it put me out of my comfort zone, and I needed that. I needed that. It was something that really helped me learn and grow.
Mm.
Um, and so I took the plunge with the LMA course,
Mm.
Life Mastery Achievers, in January.
Mm.
And I just went through it. I was still working in a factory, so it was really but I wasn't as depressed as I was before. So I wasn't letting the external situation get to me.
Mm.
Um, I was having growth, and I was just actually putting things into action.
Mm.
Because what I was doing before is I was just like, okay, it'll be okay. Something will turn up. I'll be able to return to the outdoor education
Mm.
world. But there's only so much. Everyone has to do something eventually. I was making excuses. Um, so during the on the course, I just got so much more, not just motivation, but also tools how to deal with things
Mm.
and how to put myself out there. And it would have been around about March time of this year. I started then reapplying for jobs
Mm.
and doing interviews. I failed a couple,
Mm.
but persevered. I think in the past that failure maybe would have set me back, and I would have like dwelt on it, but I just used it as growth.
Mm.
And I've had a lot of successes now. I've just come off a 2-week job, which was great, working outdoors again. So LMA certainly, like, without a doubt, helped me to find how to within myself the confidence and courage to go for my passion, which for me is working outdoors,
Mm.
outdoor education.
Mm. So for you, is that you'd ended up in this mainly due to the lockdowns, pandemic, etc., in a position where you were taken away from your passion and then locked
Yeah,
into a an environment and a way of being that just wasn't aligned with you. But you're saying that you were struggling to have the, I suppose, energy or fortitude to really, okay, well, accept this isn't what I want, and I can go for what I want, and to then take the steps and take action, and that LMA was able to just give you that kind of fuel to then
yeah,
bounce off of
exactly.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
what I'd like to ask, quite specifically, in terms of, so of course you said you don't remember the specific time that you saw the first advert, etc. But when you were considering enrolling, can you think, one, were there any, I suppose, issues that came up in your mind or reasons why you thought actually maybe I might not and enroll, that is, and if so, how did you overcome that?
Yeah. Um, so I think that I had two things actually. One of them was money,
Mm,
to the payment for it. I have paid for other online courses, not to do with self motivation,
mm,
and and some of them I would say were more expensive than LMA, but still, even so, it's for putting out. But overcoming that, um, I had money, I had savings, um, but I just thought I'd good hard look at myself and thought, well, I'm investing within myself, and I felt confidence from doing the Rise Above challenge prior. So I had an idea of a taster of what the LMA course, and I also watched several testimonial videos
mm,
from other alumni
mm,
of um, of LMA. So that really felt, increased my trust in the LMA course. The other thing was, and I've had this problem before where I've bought a online course and then I've not used it.
mm,
So it was now, maybe that personally actually was more of an issue, is I would spend this money and then I would waste the opportunity, and it would just sort of be
mm,
another thing on my um that I haven't done, that I haven't achieved.
mm,
And I hate that feeling of incompletion.
mm,
So I didn't want to start something and then not finish. But overcoming that, I just thought, you know what? What's the alternative? I could not use this course, and yeah, I would maybe find a way and have alternative things. I might, potentially buy another thing. So, or if I have to find it with just through trial and error.
mm.
Um, so
So
yeah,
those,
it's just yeah. So it's just I just decided, um, if I consistently do something, I'll achieve it.
okay.
I'll
So now you're on the course, you've enrolled. What would you say was the thing that surprised you the most, one, about the course? Could be in its structure, content, or even how you related to it. Just what stood out to you the most?
The one thing I really stood out is, um, so I've looked at like self motivation on a very sort of what's the word, small scale, just like watching YouTube videos and motivational videos, um, sort of foundation stuff, other people outside of Success Insider. Um, but I was always very, where I would describe me, like fluffy. It's not like anything specific, quite vague,
Mm,
which is great. But I really liked, when I was doing the LMA course, the science behind psychology of the brain.
mm,
And so actually looking at it from that perspective
mm,
made me realize, well, the brain is just an organ
mm,
that we can use. it certainly helped me as my logical mind to
Mm.
understand it better. So understanding about various things. Um, Trying to give an example, but
Well, you say, using the brain as an organ, was it in a sense starting to view, your brain, ultimately your own mind, as something that can be worked upon very
yeah,
actively?
yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's exactly what yeah.
Okay.
So it's prior to that, I was thought, I was quiet and shy, and I couldn't change that. That's just me.
Mm.
Um, so it's just understanding that, yeah, actually, my thoughts and sort of create my actions
Mhm.
and lead to change. So, and just understanding how to do that. And there's certain, um, yeah, parts of the course that really, really helped me a lot.
Mm. And are there any, for you, Juan, any exercises that stand out? So each week has a specific theme. For you, was there a week or an exercise, or do you remember, a kind of thought you had, say, about yourself, or anything like that, that was like, actually, this was a moment where I really felt a shift beginning?
Yeah, I would definitely say that in particular exercise.
Mm.
Do you want me to say the exercise?
I don't mind, Jay. You can
Yeah, yeah.
talk about it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the exercise was the 6 layers of emotion letter.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've done two of them, and one of them was in particular for um, to do with a failure I had a couple of years ago.
Mm.
With it was my dream job actually
Mm.
in outdoor education, an outdoor centre that I visited when I was a child,
Mm.
and then so when I got the job, it was like, yeah, it's a dream come true. And then unfortunately, um, I didn't pass my um, 1 year probation. There were some observations that they were doing on some of the activities I was running. To cut a long story short, I um, didn't achieve that. I failed my probation, so I left the job.
Mm.
I was on good terms with the company and everything, so it was all that's fine. But it felt like a failure. It was a failure, but it felt like a failure to me, and I really dwelt on it a lot. Um, at the time, I did some therapy a little bit, and I thought it was okay.
Mm.
And certainly over the last year, um, when I was working in a factory, I thought about it so much, and I was just
Mm.
ruminating on it so much, and I was letting it affect me
Mhm.
in other ways. So the 6 layers of emotion letter really helped me to get past that.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I'm still working on it, but certainly um, I've come to a point where I'm accepting that event, and I'm obviously still working on it, but it's a big one for me, and that certainly that letter helps a lot.
Oh, that's yeah, that's really fantastic to hear. That was, something I just from what you're saying, it makes perfect sense that that would be something that would be very emotional, particularly when you think back on it as well, and that you're moving to a place where it's waning. Of course, you're saying it's not, completely exercised, but that's normal. It's good that you are feeling better with relationship to that. That's fantastic. So, would you say that that's the biggest benefit that you had from LMA
Yeah, I would
specifically?
definitely
Yeah,
say, yeah,
yeah,
that's specific, yeah.
yeah.
Um, and it sort of helped me just to realize that there's other that's not the only job. So that was my aim for a long time in my
Mm.
career. So then once I got past that, um, I took on some other work, but I wasn't really like I was still seeing that as the dream job, which I
Mm.
can't really realistically go back to it.
Mm.
Um, and funnily enough, the company that I went to after the company that fired me,
Mm.
um, they're freelance, but I applied for just recently a more senior position.
Mm.
So I think, and so helping that letter helped me realize that yes, this other company is not the best company in the world.
Mhm.
It's not like the aim. There's other places. So
Yeah, yeah.
um, I returned to another job and got a very good senior role, which again actually was a thing that I've not done at all in my career. I've never done any senior type work or management type um, jobs. I've always gone entry level and then had other people telling me what to do. Even though, well, from doing LMA, I sort of realized that actually I've done quite a lot and I should just go for these things and not let the fear hold me back. Um, so, and so that's another thing. And I'm way more motivated in the idea of leading people.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So you went from, well, here's the dream that I
Yeah,
lost, from, okay, I feel okay about losing it, to, well, actually, there's a higher dream than this one that I
yeah,
lost, and shifting towards that realization. And not only that, it sounds like you're actively in your life moving towards that. It's not just an awareness, it's actually happening as well.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And I
fantastic.
mean, another thing as well, it's I think in one of the weeks it mentioned the 3 blessings of failure.
Yep.
So that really was another like um aha moment, like
Yeah.
sort of light bulb went off when I saw that. And there's all these other moments within the course as well that's um created that as well. All these I had so many like light bulb moments, like mind blown. So all these things led to me to have these practical things in my life. Um, and I also see myself outside of the work stuff. I'm just more sociable with people. I'm not constantly suffering from like anxiety of like, oh, am I saying the right thing? I'm not
Yeah.
worrying about things too much,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worrying about things too much,
Okay.
which
Well,
is
Juan,
very
that's
nice.
that's fantastic. It's such a good, just overall package, I suppose, in terms of
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
describing. It's so many different areas. So, what I'd say is now, last minute or so, if you were speaking to someone who's on the fence about joining LMA, they're saying, maybe a friend, for example, Juan, I've seen the introductory video. I'm not sure. Just, yeah, I don't know. What would you say to that person?
So I would say, well, you're thinking about it. You've come this far. You've seen the introductory videos. My advice to you is to just take some time, good hard look at your life and where it is now. And if any way you feel that you're not happy with where you are and you want to achieve more, I would certainly say doing LMA has helped me and other people, um, countless people within the community, achieve things. I'm sure it's not the only thing out there, but it's such a good structure to it. There's so many lessons, and um, I would say I've learned more in these 6 weeks about how to improve my self confidence, overcome things than I have in my whole life, really, in just these 6 weeks. And of course, there's a whole lovely community of support. So if you ever do have like times when you're just feeling stuck and lost, you just reach out to people, and it gives you that added motivation that you need.